All right, here we go on the Friday. Yes. Let's go. Who's that? Okay. All right. Gian says audio is okay. So we're going to roll with it. Now, by the way, tonight, give me 1 second. There we go. Sure is. We are with Cranston Police tonight. Road Patrol Live. Cranston Police. Yes. What time is that? 8-ish. 8-ish is the answer. Good afternoon, one and all. There's Chuck Masso. There's Debbie. What a week it has been, folks. Obviously, Cranston was the big news of the week. So we are going to begin in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. There he is. There's the Mckee voter. Unbelievable. Yep. I don't want that. Thanks a lot, McGreed. There he is. There he is. Unreal. Unreal. There's Lisa. Lisa's back with us. Yay. There's Gene Kimball. Folks, again, that will be on Facebook. Let me hold on. I want to pull up. There we go. Let me just add that. Let me do that. Folks, Gabe Amo says, Congressman Gabe Amo, Rhode Island's in great shape. His belt is fighting for its life, for crying out loud. My goodness. Congressman Gabe Amo, Rhode Island's in great shape. Look at that waistline. Talk about a gut check. Wow. Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. Let me get our other friend there. Why is this goon in Cranston? Known gang member from Brockton. There he is. All right, we're going to start in just a moment. Again, listen, this is when we kick into action. It is true, obviously, we're very busy during the week. But on the weekend, when the media takes off, that's when we kick in. And it's been quite the week. Let me just double check everything. I think we should be fine. I was out earlier. Went for a nice late morning run. Chosen one stays in shape, folks. You have to. Yes. It's not raining out, thank goodness. And let me just also. No, I think we're good on YouTube. Gian says we're good. So I'll take that. Say yes. There it is. Yes, we'll talk about Garden City. My goodness, what a week. All right, there I am. Yes, it is. All right, we're good there. And now let me just check the FB. Come on, Juan. And then we're going to begin on this Friday. Yes. How about Kay's Restaurant? Friday, Saturday night specials at Kay's. Meet me at Kay's is exactly right. You know, meet me at Kay's Restaurant. Wow. Look at that. Fantastic. And the Lodge. How about tonight? Fried clams at the Lodge Pub and Eatery. You know, I got to text David. I want to meet him for lunch. Long overdue. Meet me at the Lodge. Well, folks, good afternoon. Yes, it is Friday. Yes, tonight we will be riding with. Is it true? It is true. The most talked about police force in really the region right now. There's Sandy Yacht. Folks, thank you for all the stars. The Facebook crowd, they love it. We keep inching closer to 100,000 followers. We started, we're just about 97.5. We'll be 98,000 by the end of the weekend. And then obviously we continue to grow on this, Cindy, on well, really all our platforms, actually. But Facebook is a big one. TikTok also. Don't forget, follow us on TikTok. 110,000 followers. Almost, or it's actually almost 111 as we're getting closer. So, folks, you see all the platforms continue to just grow and take off. Why is that? That's a fair question. They like the content. They like, do I say like? People love the content. Yes, Mckee is putting the state in danger. And I'm going to talk about that. Can I pin that? No. Hold on. Let me unpin this. I understand. Now, right now, we are live on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Now, but wait, there's more. We are also live. You can always listen to the program. It's true. How about the when we were in Cranston? Now, first one on the scene for the standoff. That's already done over 100,000 views just on Facebook. That was Wednesday. Today's Friday. That's 100,000 views just on Facebook alone. It's also up on YouTube. It's also up on Instagram. It's also up on TikTok. Folks, do you see a pattern here with the Chosen One? People still continue to gravitate. We get new people. Some like just tap out. There was a reporter at the scene the other day from the Providence Journal. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There is a newspaper. I forgot about that. Are people still reading the newspaper? I mean, I don't read it. Yeah, let me read tomorrow what happened today. No, I don't think so. Not a big demand for that. There we go. This portion of our program on this Friday. Now, again, just so everyone understands. Now, if you log on to depetro.com, brought to you by the Cohasset Inn, 226 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick, lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge, plus the market at Cohasset. They're waiting for you. Stiff drinks are waiting for you. She went drunk at the Cohasset Inn. And don't forget about the market at Cohasset. Let me just let me stay on schedule here. All right, this portion of the program brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Now they have delicious homegrown corn, which is great. What a treat over the next 4 months. Let's see, July, August, September, October, really into November. But delicious local corn at PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. They also have delicious peaches, fresh vegetables. Hey, stop it on the way home from the beach, right on Route 4, right off Route 4. Look for them on Facebook. They're a full-scale nursery. They're a local business. They grind it. They're open 7 days a week, just like me. That's what we have in common. And I always tell that to Debbie and Steve. We have a common kinship, right? The Chosen One. We are in motion 24/7. We are, for the most part. But stop in and see them, PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. I mentioned the Cohasset Inn. Now also, let's see. Fred said, who's that propane company that you recommend? I live in Rentham. If you're in Massachusetts, Fred, call Propane Plus, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus, all your heating and cooling. If you're in Rhode Island, you can call them at 401-885-4209, always online at propaneplus.com. Yes, residential or commercial. They're another one. 2 o'clock in the morning, boom, website's ready to roll. 7 days a week. They don't shut down. Propane Plus. Now, let me get to, who was I talking about? depetro.com. Check out the website. Put it into the comments. There it is. All right. Now, we have another update coming up for this, but we do have some new material. So let's just say you're one of those people, for whatever reason, that you're not on social media. All the videos are right there. Brockton gang member was the target in the Garden City execution. There he is. I didn't see nothing. Look at him with the gang tats. Good thing to know that guy's floating around Garden City. God almighty. Now also, we're the only ones that have this. Exclusive. Cranston Police body cam. This guy's nuts. spraying the gas. Excuse me. Now, with the first story, the Brockton gang member, that has, I mean, look at that. Broad daylight. I still can't get over it. 11:45 in the morning. Bang, 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 bang. He jumped too soon. He should have waited till that guy came up. He jumped like 2 seconds too soon. The guy behind the car, if he had just waited until he was either going past the car or just even with it, he would have been in no man's land. Jumped out too soon and the guy retreated. Anyhow, you can see that video. And then we also have all the Road Patrol Live with Providence Task Force. The Cranston, the armed standoff is all right there. The Garden City gang murder plot. I mean, it is nonstop, but check it out. Plus our friends at Westerly Police. It's all at dpetro.com. All right. Now, from what I understand, they did find a body in the Providence River. No word yet back from the Providence Police. So far, it has not been deemed, to my knowledge, a homicide. It has not been deemed a homicide. It is a lot of things happen. You know, sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's homeless people. Sometimes it could be self-harm. Sometimes there are people that whatever, drinking, drugs, alcohol, and they end up body pulled from the Providence River. Where was that? It was early this morning, 4 o'clock. All right, that one we didn't make. Still not ID'd as far as I know, late 20s, early 30s. That's all they know. Where was that? I think it was at the boat ramp. Okay, so there's that, but that is, someone said to me, is that the serial killer? It's the serial killer. And we don't know that it's the serial killer. So also, how about this wild story out of Newport? I did get the press release on that. I just did not have time this morning. Listen to this story out of Newport. I am going to talk about what's going on with Mckee, though. Newport Police Department. You know, this is one of those stories. See, you never know when something, I'm not going to say something small, but there's a pattern to people that break the law. Shoplifting suspects arrested, $100,000 worth of merchandise. So May 26th, all right, so they didn't come out with it right away. Team 1, Newport. They had a shoplifting incident. 2 suspects, a male and a female, were caught on video stealing about $471 worth of merchandise. So they assigned it to some of the detectives. They identified who these people are. D.I.J. DePinto, also known as Dennis DePinto, and Beverly DePinto, both of Berkeley, Massachusetts. They were wanted for outstanding warrants for shoplifting in Cranston and Warwick. So they live in Berkeley, Mass, but they come to Rhode Island basically to work and shoplift. So what they got warrants for their residence, and inside the residence they found $100,000 worth of stolen merchandise. Both suspects take to Taunton District Court and then back to Newport Police Department. They were both released. Wow, how about that? So you have what you think is just going to be a normal shoplifting case, and then $100,000 worth of merchandise. By the way, I don't think, let me just also double check. I did mention, now tonight, we will be riding with Cranston Police. 8 o'clock, might be a little bit earlier. Who knows? Who knows how long it's going to go? No, that seems to be the whole thing. Okay. Coventry police say a stray cat tested positive for rabies. That's not good. All right, let's get to fire breaks out in North Providence home. Yes. Real Housewives spotted filming in Middletown. Are we going to have to see this every time they're spotted filming somewhere? Is that really news? Is it okay if I don't consider that to be news? Do you realize a lot of this may never see the light of day? A lot of this stuff may never end up seeing the light of day. All right, here's where we are right now. In the state, I don't see anyone stepping forward. So in Garden City, you have the 2 gang members, right? And again, the video's up on depetro.com. You can see it. Others, the police sent it out. So who is the target who is not cooperating with police? Who would they go after in broad daylight 2 days ago? Right? Even, Colonel Winkrist said it's one of the most brazen acts since I've been in law enforcement. For everyone that's watching, there he is, unknown, from Brockton, extensive criminal record in Massachusetts. But in Cranston, by the way, the guy at the Verizon store said, yeah, I recognize him. He's been in here. I think he bought some headphones. So no one is asking this. First of all, I don't think the rest of the news is showing him. And the Cranston police, they did blur out his face a little bit. On DePietro.com, he has clear gang tats on display. But folks, you have to ask yourself, what is it that, look at what's happening. Governor Mckee is bringing these people in. So, of course, not cooperating. Two guys, how much do they want to get rid of this guy? I don't know his name. I posted it out there. He, not cooperating, of course, with police. People say, oh, well, that's because he wants to get them himself. Whatever. But this person was the target. What is he doing in Garden City to begin with? And at LA Fitness, God, maybe the police ought to hang out there and run to see how many warrants to some of the members. Here's the reason. This is what happens when you run a sanctuary state. Criminals come to reside in your state to seek sanctuary. There it is. And this is the question from now until next November, when this guy's up for re-election. Is quality of life better under Governor Mckee? As I have stated in the past, I think he gets a free pass, right? WMcKeeRO, they all just fall in line with him. He's got his little campaign pal, his little golf buddy. They keep him occupied 3 hours, blocking out. No one else can get time there, running cover for him. That to me is what this is all about. How much more of this are we supposed to put up with? There's a reason why people live in Cranston. There's a reason why people shop and eat and like to visit Garden City. You know why? It's to not have to deal with people like this. If they wanted to deal with people like this, they'd go to Brockton or they'd go to Providence Place Mall, but they wouldn't go to Garden City. So, and I have people saying like, well, what do you mean like these people? Criminals. That's what I'm talking about. Criminals. He's not law abiding. He wasn't trying to get in a quick workout and then he had to hustle off to work. Has he done time? How much time? Folks, this portion of our program. Now, remember, call Corey. See, Corey sent me a message. Call Corey. Okay. Quality asphalt seal coating. They epoxy garages. Free quote. They epoxy garages and patios. Makes a huge difference. Decorative concrete flooring. They can also resurface sport court, pickleball, tennis. Call Corey, though. It's quality asphalt seal coating. 401-283-9815. Go on either their Facebook page or their website, qualityasphaltsealcoating.com, and look at the difference if they epoxy your garage. They'll give you a free quote. Corey does a great job. Free quote. Quality asphalt seal coating. Folks, this portion of our program, don't forget, with all this damage, if you've had some damage done to your roof, call Roof Co. Rhode Island. They'll give you a free estimate. There's a very good chance with that storm that just happened, still damaged, there's still trees down. They'd be happy to inspect your roof for wind damage, give you a free estimate. Roof Co. Rhode Island, 401-868-6600. 7149. Leaky roof, missing lifted or curled shingles, granules in the gutter. Roof Co. Rhode Island, 401-868-7149. They're another one. I share their Facebook page. Folks, how much longer are people going to put up with the lower quality of life? And that's what Governor Mckee brings. See, to me, it's not even about politics per se, meaning I don't view him as necessarily Republican Democrat. This is quality of life. Look at the incompetence with the bridge, of which no one's been terminated. No one's been demoted. No one's been bumped down. No one's taken a pay cut. That bridge isn't going to be done by then. They're going to be working on that thing for into 2030 and beyond. It's not going to be done by then. Look at how much that screws up traffic. So much, as I said to Dave McGowan, no one even covers it anymore. How much it screws up the traffic. And it does. And I notice it, not just me, but there are people that work in the West Bay. They work in Warwick, North Kingstown, and they happen to live in East Providence or Seekonk or Rehoboth or Borington or, wherever. And now every night, every day, trying to get back home, the traffic starts building up at Route 37, and they just have to sit in a parking lot. Look at the crime. His campaign promise is to fight ICE. Let as many illegals in as possible. There's no plan. By the way, I still find it very suspicious that he got that bridge money in the first place. I think that's a story we're going to be unveiling next month. Maybe even this month, actually. Quality of life. Do you realize there's no companies that want to come in and do business? I also want to remind, the media also, I'm not trying to knock local media. I'm not, except for W. Mckee, RO. But folks, never forget, he was under an FBI probe. And if you listen to Attorney General Peter Nerona, if the law had been a little bit different, he should have been indicted. He rigged that bid to his friends. In exchange for campaign donations. And on top of that, the Washington Bridge is under an FBI probe. And no one talks about that. But what I come back to is quality of life better under Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee? No, not even close. He's destroyed the private sector. He is a puppet to organized labor. Total joke. Look at how Arthur Coya passed away. Now they're going to praise him as like a big statesman. Labor's International. Okay, yeah, they're legit. No, with Governor Mckee, it is. Well, he is a puppet on a string. Someone had said to me a year ago, "Oh, he's going to resign." I'm like, he couldn't leave if he wanted to. In the movie The Irishman, he's like Fitz, right? Jimmy Hoffa, played by Al Pacino, he goes to jail, and then you have Fitz, and they control him, and he rubber stamps everything. And interesting enough, in The Irishman, where you have De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino. Al Pacino was Hoffa. When Hoffa goes to the can, the guy that's Fitz, who's in charge of, that's the Teamsters with Hoffa. He's also always on the golf course, just like Governor McGreed. And the way that they just pay homage to these individuals. Where does it end? When does it end? When do people start to? But the reason, I don't know if you heard the conversation I had with Dan McGowan of the Boston Globe, but this is another thing. I just don't hear anyone talk about it. To me, it's wildly important. Governor Mckee, the poll last month, the Rhode Island governor, had a 19% approval rating with one poll, UNH poll. The poll that came out with Salve this week, 25%, still almost kind of within the margin of error. Why is he running for re-election? What would lead him to believe with a 25% approval rating? Remember, in order to win, You need to get at least 51%. You have an opponent. If it's just two of you, you need to get 51%. So a margin is you won 51 to 49. Three-way, maybe, right around there. In one poll, Governor McKee's at 19%. In the poll that just came out, he's 25. What would lead him to believe that he can get over 50%? It's the mail ballots. It's the way they game the system with the mail ballots. And it's not just mail ballots in general. As Dan McGowan agreed with me, in Massachusetts, one person cannot collect more than 10. In Connecticut, one person cannot collect more than 10. In Rhode Island, limitless. What does that mean? You could have one union nurse. One union nurse. Remember, the unions want Mckee in because he just rubber stamps everything like Fitz. One union nurse could go around to different assisted living, nursing homes. One union nurse could hand in his 1,000 ballots for Dan Mckee. And there's no paper trail. Mail ballots, they got rid of the notary. I don't get it. I don't get it. Here's what don't I get? The Rhode Island Republican Party. What is it going to take? And I get it. Like Mike Chippendale, I like him, but I know they feel I'm critical. De La Cruz, I'm waiting for her to impress me. She's a senator. She's the Senate Minority Leader, blah, blah, blah. When do they get around? Why can't we have legitimate elections? Seth Magaziner, what leads these people to think they keep getting reelected? I am telling you, it's the mail ballots. I know it is. It was so clear in 2022. And the Rhode Island Republican Party, they missed opportunities with Matos and the signature scandal to do something. All I can do is talk about it. They can introduce legislation. None of it matters if we don't have legitimate elections. Seth Magaziner, why would he be worried about an opponent? In 2022, 3 years ago, Alan Fung, that November, Alan Fung won day of election at the polls, at the ballots. He won. He beat Magaziner. Fung got 4,000 mail ballots. Magaziner got 14,000 mail ballots. Game over. Governor McKee ran against Ashley Kalus. 25,000 mail ballots. Folks, when does this nonsense end? Not one piece of legislation, not one, has gone through to try to address that. There will be no change unless we have legitimate elections. Like I said, who wants to go to a casino where sometimes it's 21, sometimes it's 22, sometimes it's 20? No. Who wants to play that? Would you go and play blackjack if sometimes 20 wins, sometimes 21 wins, sometimes 22? I think you get the general idea. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by ServPro. Call Serv. Okay. 46-year-old male, nothing suspicious. All right. So that is the latest. Providence Police. Breaking a little news here. Not major news, but okay. 46-year-old male, nothing suspicious. So all the serial killer talk can calm down a little bit. Folks, getting back to, it takes the ear out of you. I don't get it. To me, that's the battle worth fighting. That is the battle. If you don't have legitimate elections, what is the point? So this time around, under this scenario, guess who loses? They have the unions collect and ballot harvest. They grab all these ballots, and the polls are tight. The polls were tight. The polls were dead accurate. The polls, just quickly, Alan Fung against Seth Magaziner. The polls had Fung up 4%. 4%. Guess what? At the polls, Fung won by 4 percentage points. Day of voting. Poll was right in the money. He lost because he had 4,000 mail ballots and Magaziner had 14,000 mail ballots. Governor Dan Mckee, he lost day of voting to Helena Foulkes in the Democrat primary, but he won with 3,000 more mail ballots than she did. That's why he's the governor. And then Aaron Gukian, lieutenant governor, he won Warwick. He won the city of Warwick. Aaron Gukian, the Republican, he beat Matos. He won day of voting and lost to her because of mail ballots. Folks, when does this end? People are already telling me, well, there's somebody that's going to run against Magaziner. There's someone that's going to run against Mckee. What is the point? You're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. It's another jockey on a dead horse. Legitimate elections. You know what the Trump White House people tell me? When is your state going to have legitimate elections? President Trump actually would have done much better in Rhode Island if we had legitimate elections. I don't have an explanation. The session just ended at the State House. They didn't even introduce anything. This portion of our program. Now, when disaster strikes, serve pro of Providence. Remember, they're fast, they're thorough, they're professional. If you have a fire, if you have a flood, or if you have mold, serve pro of Providence. Call them 401-941-5500. 401-941-5500. Serve pro of Providence. Fast, thorough, professional. When disaster strikes, you can count on Serve Pro Providence, and they're open 24/7. That's who I would call. If I had a commercial building and there was a fire, I'm calling them. 401-941-5500. This is Juan. We've got a fire here at the address of DePietro.com. I need Serve Pro Providence over here pronto. We have some fire damage, we have some water damage, and it looks like some mold is going to develop. Serve Pro Providence, 401-941-5500. Folks, I'm not trying to be discouraging, but like, what's the breaking point? You know, what state do you want to be more like? Ashley Kalis was absolutely crucified by some of the media because she said she admired Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Look what's going on out in California with it. Now they're firing at ICE agents. ICE is going to bulk up. ICE is going to bulk up. I'm in communication with them. Right now they're dealing with a lot in California, but Rhode Island's on the list. They've made some stops here. We've had some stuff with ICE. We're going to have more stuff with ICE. I support them. Listen, it's unfair the way they're treated. In Massachusetts and Boston, it's disgraceful. Do you see it's two governors, really three governors? Connecticut's not that much different. But Governor Healy is just terrible. And Governor Mckee doesn't belong there. He should not be there. The only reason he's running for re-election is he believes they can manipulate the system with mail ballot harvesting. He cuts a deal with the unions. I'll give you, it's a blank check. You get whatever you want. You just get me back in office. Folks, do you really, it's 2025. Do you really want Mckee to be the governor through 2030? I don't know what will be left. He's already destroying the state as it is. He's not the guy. I don't know who the guy is, but I'm just going to, something has to be altered here. Because the question, that's what I was trying to say to Dave McGowan, why here's the answer. You wouldn't run. If you had legitimate elections, you wouldn't run if you only had a 19% approval rating. If you had legitimate elections, think of that, 19% approval rating. Let's bump it up to 20. That means in a race against one opponent, he would most likely lose 80-20. Let's give him the 25%. In a matchup, he loses 75-25. What on earth would lead him to believe that he could win the election? He's going to suddenly get popular? No. He's suddenly going to come out with these commercials and people are going to be like, oh my God, this guy's great? No. Because the bridge is going to be done? It's not. He's going to land a big contract? No. What would be the reason that he and his team think that they could win. It's the mail ballots. It's ballot harvesting. They're going to collect. The unions go out and they grab all these ballots and stuff the ballot boxes. And in Rhode Island, you used to have a notary, no more. And now you can collect as many as you want. You could have a member of the AFL-CIO or one of the teachers union, and they could say he or she, they're going to collect 2,000 ballots, and it's totally legal in Rhode Island. Does that sound like democracy to you, where one person delivers 2,000 ballots and they pay them whatever it is, $15 a ballot, $20 a ballot? Does that see, that's become the norm. And even Dan McGowan of the Globe, who we chat with, will say, yeah, well, the way they compare it is in a 9-inning game. If you score a bunch of runs in the first 3 innings, and then some runs in the, middle innings, and then at the end, it shouldn't be that way. All I'm asking is that we're on par with Massachusetts and Connecticut. If Rhode Island had the same, and by the way, why is it so different? Mass seems to operate okay. Connecticut seems to operate okay. Why does Rhode Island have to have unlimited ballot collection? We know why, because that's how they game and manipulate the system. If Rhode Island had legitimate elections, Mckee would not be running for re-election. That's why Chafee didn't run. Chafee did not run for re-election. In the summer of 2013, much to my dismay, because I had all the Dump Gump t-shirts printed, he went to the Registry of Motor Vehicles and announced he was not going to seek re-election. And then Angel Tavares jumped in, then Gina Raimondo jumped in, and then eventually Clayboy Pell jumped in, right after he lost his Prius. But that's the question to me that has to be asked. What is it about Mckee that, but the thing is, we know what the answer is. We know what the answer is. And remember, his new campaign manager, no. I mean, but here's the thing. If it was Governor Juan, people like that, gang leaders, dangerous gang leaders, criminals, gang members from Brockton, they would say, if I were in charge, oh, no, I'm not going to Rhode Island. No, it's a hassle. No. Police are all over you. No. Very aggressive police. The police can only do so much. It's the politicians in power that hold them back. And again, granted, Mass is no picnic either. I mean, Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, and Governor Healy are just definition of weak. Remember, the whole Boston Strong thing is gone. That's a myth. That is from a long time ago. That's like, the Red Sox one time, World Series champs. It's all over. Folks, this portion of the program brought to you by Watson Materials. Remember, call them. The largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island is Watson Materials. Call them for a request a quote. The most complete selection of landscape materials. They have it all. Landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone. 401-885-0600. 401-885-0600. Watson Materials. Request a quote. Watson Materials. The most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island is Watson Materials. 401-885-0600. Well, folks, again, good afternoon on this Friday. Now, a lot of people say, have a good weekend. See you Monday. But those of you that follow know, first of all, we're going to be in action tonight, riding with the Cranston Police, Road Patrol Live. And then we're in action this afternoon. And then all weekend long, and it's supposed to be dry. But how many of these incidents are going to happen? I think the Wickford Art Festival is this weekend. Is there going to be gang warfare at the Wickford Art Festival? Do you see that it's spreading to the suburbs? Right now, as I've said, I mean, Cranston Police, they can't do it alone. Cranston Police are doing all they can. They can't be everywhere. I mean, at this point, it almost as if, think how ridiculous that is. Cranston's going to have to hire more police because of all the criminals that are coming in, of Mckee running a sanctuary state. You wouldn't have this problem. Listen, and I'm not saying that these are even illegals, but it creates an atmosphere of unlawfulness. This portion of the program is also brought to you by Arch Design Builders. Remember, if you're thinking of a new kitchen, maybe you are, or a new bathroom remodel, maybe you have an unfinished basement, or you'd like a new deck, or you have a special project in mind, call Ed and Roxanne, Arch Design Builders, 401-207-4124, 401-207-4124, Arch Design Builders. Listen, it all starts with the free consultation of Arch Design Builders. Ed and Roxanne, show them this is the kitchen space. This is the bathroom we're looking to remodel. This is the living room. This is the unfinished garage. This is the unfinished basement. And let's dream a little bit. Call them. Set up that meeting. 401-218-9707. Now, I did get a call, or a message, I should say, from Darlene. Darlene's brother somehow is in some trouble. Juan, who is the attorney you had on that will give my brother a free consultation? That's okay. Hey, things can happen. Let's not panic. Call Stephanie Murphy, 401-228-8271. 401-228-8271. Marin, Barrett, and Murphy. Well, folks, again, good afternoon. Actually, you know what? Let me just put it out there about, since no one does, about the body found in the river this morning. Found in Providence River. And it is 46-year-old male, nothing suspicious. Okay. Why not? I mean, I shouldn't take for granted that I have news that no one else has. I'm not trying to take that for granted, hardly. It is tough. It's frustrating, believe me. And as I mentioned, what's going on out in California is disgraceful with what they're doing to these ICE agents. They're government agents. ICE is a branch of law enforcement, right? In our country, we have local, North Providence is a town, North Providence Police. East Providence is a city, East Providence Police, Cranston Police. Listen, we can also argue West Warwick has their own police department. Coventry has their own police department. Warwick has their own police department. Should it be a little more unified? Yes, they should be. But you can't have people waging wars against whether it's the FBI or the IRS or the Secret Service or Homeland Security. Folks, joining us on this Friday as we continue to make America healthy again. There she is. Let's bring her on. She's the queen of health. It's our friend Maria. My Health, 1099 Menden Road in Cumberland. Good afternoon, Marie.
Hi, John. Happy Friday. Happy July Friday.
Is it raining on Menden Road in Cumberland, or is it dry outside?
It is sunny and gorgeous here, but it's always sunny and it's My Health.
Fantastic. Marie, what products do you want to highlight for us today that are available at It's My Health, 1099 Menden Road in Cumberland?
I thought I'd highlight a few of the women's products that we have because so many women come in with problems with PMS, with cramps, with menopause, those hot flashes, they are debilitating. So we do have products that are great if you like the herbal things. This is our most popular product from a company called Feminescence. They go by another name, Symphony. It uses maca, and they have it in menopause, they have it in perimenopause, and they have it also for people who are cycling. So when they have problems with, if they're trying to get pregnant and they're just not having any success, that can help because it balances the hormones. So regardless of what stage you're at, the maca that they use, the formula that they have really does help a lot. We sell a lot of it, especially the menopause one, but we sell some of the regular for people who have a lot of PMS problems or fertility problems. And then we also do have some homeopathics that work well too: menopause, PMS, cramps. The homeopathics are nice because you just take them when you need them. They melt in your mouth. So, if you're popping ibuprofen like candy, that's not a good thing to do long term. That stuff can eat a hole in your stomach. So these things are very safe, very easy, and they do work well. So that's my my riff for today.
Now, Marie, also, it is still peak of summer. People get dehydrated, and it's been so humid. There's got to be
Mhm.
people that come in for some of their joints and everything is aching just because some of the humidity that's out there.
Oh, for sure. But, definitely drinking water, making iced tea, using electrolytes. So we have electrolytes just by themselves, some liquid you can just add into water, but we do have some flavored things as well, that just kind of makes the water taste a little bit better. So we do have quite a few things like that. And then for the muscle pains and things, arnica is always a good place to go. We do have CBD as well, but I love the homeopathics. They're just so easy and so safe. People come in and they might be on a number of different meds, so then it gets tricky to start looking at the herbs. Homeopathy is a much safer route to go to take that edge off, whether it's pain or migraines or poison ivy. Even we have things for that.
How are you stocked for local honey?
We're in good shape for local honey right now, and we've been really busy selling a lot of honey this past week. So a lot of people, just maybe a bunch all at the same time, are out of it, but we've had a big demand for it. And our honey person is keeps us well stocked.
I've been doing 2 teaspoons of honey before I go for a run. Is it my
Hmm.
imagination, or it just seems to give like a little boost of energy?
Absolutely. I mean, it's sugar, right? But it's a really good sugar, but it does give you the energy. Great to do before a workout. It'll definitely give you some vitality there.
Now, Marie, what's in store for the remaining part of today and also Super Saturday tomorrow? And It's My Health, folks, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Pop in and see the Queen. What's in store for tomorrow at It's My Health?
So tomorrow we have a yoga class, we have a Pilates class, and we also have our Power of Eight meditation group that meets at 2:00. It's free. Anybody can come. They spend 8 minutes at a time just meditating, focusing on some issue. It could be a world issue, it could be a particular issue that somebody has. But it's a great group. We usually get quite a few people, and that's a lot of fun. Second Saturday of every month.
Folks, pop in and see her. She's the Queen of Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland, diagonally across from Davenport Restaurant. Marie, you are the queen. Keep up the good work. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, John. Have a great weekend.
All right, folks. She is just delightful, and she's so knowledgeable, by the way. And I like the fact that people like Bobby Kennedy and some others are talking about. There's so many natural things and what goes into diet, and it's so interesting to me because my kids they're so conscious of, they talk about ingredients should be on the front of the package instead of the back of the package, and things that they will not buy, and it does make a huge difference. It's not your imagination that the obesity problem, especially in our part of the country, but it's just terrible and it's getting worse, and there's no need for it. Pop in and see Maria at It's My Health. She has wonderful, first of all, she's a great local retailer. You want to support that, but there's great natural things that she sells that would just be good for your body. You don't need all this processed stuff, or everything is taking a pill. You can still get to where you need to be, but pop in and see her. She's terrific and she's so knowledgeable. Folks, this portion of the program. Now, don't forget, Jason asked me. Jason, his dad is a veteran. And he said, Juan, it's time to get that driveway paved. I know you mentioned a company has a special package for veterans. Jason, I did recommend that. It's J. Perry Paving. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service, free estimate, especially a great package for veterans. So Jason's dad was in the Army and he'd like to surprise him and get his driveway paved. I said, you're not going to get a better deal than with J. Perry Paving. Call them 401-732-1730. I share their Facebook page as well, but give them a call. Free estimate. By the way, Rhode Island, Mass, Connecticut, J. Perry Paving, 401-732-1730. So again, now, for the remaining part of the afternoon, if something happened, meaning if there was some kind of a scene, who knows? Friday, things can just break open. We will obviously be there. That's number one. Now, number two, we also are going to be riding with the Cranston Police tonight. And then all weekend long, folks, I am what we call I'm on call, which means I limit, my obligations where I have to be. Why do I do that? Because all right, just so we're all clear. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, you can certainly send some of the super chats, super thanks, things like that on Facebook. People like the content. You can send stars. You can subscribe to the page. Make sure you want to do that. But just think of this. That's Wednesday morning. And you have, think of this, the Providence Journal. You have Channel 10 with all the reporters. Channel 12, all the reporters. Channel 6, all the reporters. You have some of the other smaller newspapers and things like that. You do have a radio station, what's left of it, down the dial with, reporters and so forth. Think of this. I was first one on the scene on Wednesday, and that's then the live stream just takes over. And I mean, later, as we're waiting to talk to Senator Padalano, the Providence Journal shows up. Who's going to wait to read about that? The answer is nobody. So it's not as if like someday we're going to do this or someday we're going to do that, or you wait. At some point, it's already happening. And then when I left the standoff, I went to Garden City. Of course it's long. Of course it's tiring. Of course I'm thinking like, boy, I really need to visit a restroom. Of course I'm thinking all those things. So, but I mean, Wednesday, it's all built for when that happens. And what's also, you noticed the Cranston Police mentioned us. People know where to go. People know. People didn't say like, hey, I'm surprised he's live. People like, something's going on, right? That's branding. That doesn't happen overnight. Very, very happy with the way that has come together. For those in our region, something happens. Look where people go. Look where people go. And I want to thank Rebecca, some friend of mine, some people that work with her, and we don't watch the news. We just watch The Chosen One. That's all the news we need. So now, I also want to mention, and I'm very happy about this, I've been friendly with the Skeffingtons for really my entire life. And every time we're on Chalkstone Avenue, right near Gilligan's, right at Chalkstone and River, I mention there's the Skeff Funeral Home on the right. That's where I went to the services for Miguel Degnan. And therefore, I was very happy when in East Greenwich, they have Hill Skeffington. It was the Hill Funeral Home. And then Skeff took it over and they had that horrible fire. But they are open and they're going to rebuild this thing. It is something to watch it take over. So, folks, remember, for those, now I'm Roman Catholic, and they teach you, St. Paul's School in Bishop Hendricken, unfortunately, but death is part of life. Dying is part of life. But Hill Skeffington, remember, you can plan ahead They'll take the first step with you, or they'll help you plan a service. But contact them. And they're rebuilding the East Greenwich location right there on Main Street, right near Regency Cigar, actually. 401-884-9222. And speaking of that, I want to mention someone that is up, but Hill Skeffington. Remember, plan ahead. Then there's only one way out of this world. And when it happens, everything is taken care of for your family. Or maybe it is sudden and you need to plan a service. Contact them, 401-884-9222. I want to mention two friends of mine, both Tommy Bryan and Jim Bennett. Someone that I had met, and this guy was very, very well known. And you hate seeing something like this, but he tragically passed away. And it's one of those things that James Carr, JMO, he was really, I had met him before. James Carr, very, very involved in the community, real character, 73 years old. I hate seeing, I mean, to me, that's like young. I'm reading people in the obits that are, it's like nothing if you see someone's 97, 98, 100. But the CEO of H. Carr and Sons passed away unexpectedly this past Sunday. Larger than life in every way. One of his friends said to me, he may have been 73, but his life was like someone that lived to be 150. So, but JMO, met him, and again, very good friends with two very good friends of mine, Jim Bennett and also Tommy Bryan. I believe they're having the collation at Wannamoyset. So, but folks, and also, I mean, it's actually been a lot of death this week. Former Governor Dupree passed away. Boo-hoo. And then also now Arthur Coya, whose father basically started Laborers International. Arthur Coya, who gave the gift to Bill Clinton of the special golf clubs. And then he got in trouble, something with a Ferrari. This goes back, it was more like in the 90s. Arthur Coya, I had his lawyer on, Howard Gutman, way back. Was in this brutal war with the Providence Journal, back when the Journal was the Journal. But he also, Arthur Coya, passed away. Well, folks, listen, it's 1:59. Great job by Gian this week. If you're listening to the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. Now, everyone else, make sure you follow the page. Thank you for all the support. If news breaks, we'll be live. Otherwise, we will see you tonight riding with the Cranston Police. We'll see you later with Road Patrol Live.